Hey y'all, just gonna do a quick video update, kind of do my July cross stitch update. I haven't gotten a lot of stitching done. I've had to do a lot of frogging and ripping out stitches. Oh, it's been horrible. I'm so frustrated this month. I've made so many mistakes. Some of them I've had to just let be where they are and just deal with them. Others I've put to the side and haven't even touched because I'm so frustrated with it. And then others I've had to pick and pick and pick and pick, you know, the stitches out, and I've just not made a lot of progress. But I will say I got to do my first cross stitch weekend. I don't know if I had mentioned that in any of the videos, but so I've been planning that kind of on my forum for a while. And there were two other actual cross stitch forum members that came, and then there was also a sister-in-law of one of the members who came. And she's actually a knitter, by the way. I salute all you knitters out there. There's no way I will ever be able to knit. It's amazing. I always thought that it would be neat to learn how to knit to where I could use that as a gift. You know, you knit somebody a sweater, you give them the gift, kind of a, not a cheap, but a less expensive do-it-yourself gift. I realized very quickly that knitting is not at all a inexpensive hobby. There were skeins of yarn. We went to that Eat, Knit, Sleep place, or Eat, Sleep, Knit. I don't know. I always said it backwards. I took me the whole weekend for calling it the wrong thing. But there were like skeins of yarn for like $53 a skein. Like, I can buy a whole sweater for that. I can buy, you know, I don't know. I always thought that that's, you know, why knitters chose to do knitting, is because it was cheaper to make it yourself. It clearly is not. Maybe not. Maybe it's the type of the yarn that I was looking at. I don't know. But anyway, definitely not an expensive hobby. It made me very proud of my cross stitch. You know, the process of my cross stitch that I've spent. Friday night was the first night of the weekend. I left my son for the first time since he's been born. He's 20 months old now, or will be on the 4th of this month. And he was really sick when he was born. I guess if y'all want me to go into that later, I'll do another video about kind of his condition that he had whenever he was born. But so my husband and I haven't left him a lot. We're fortunate enough to be able to work out our schedule that one of us is home with him every night. Like, even nights that I work, my husband gets to be at home with him. So our anniversary last year, we left him with my mother-in-law, his grandmother, for like 12 hours. Like, we dropped them off at 2 in the afternoon and we came back by noon the next day. You know, we went and just out to dinner. And so like, he hasn't ever I haven't ever been that far away from him. Even when I work, you know, I work at night, but I'll get to see him that morning or that afternoon when I leave for work, and I get to see him that morning when I come home. So it was an event for me, because I left on a Friday at like 2 or 3, and then I was gone until a Sunday about 1, and I was tearing up, boo-hooing when I left. My husband was giving me a snack because he didn't want him to get too upset when I left, and I was telling everybody bye, and I gave him a kiss and said bye, you know, I'll see you later. He very nonchalantly, you know, very country, said bye, and just kept eating, like literally reached for this little fish and kept eating like it was no big deal. I, however, cried the whole way out the driveway and all the way like to the interstate, and then kind of started getting a little better once I got to hit the interstate and had to focus on traffic. But I survived. I ended up sick that Friday night. I don't know if it was a stomach bug or if it was food poisoning. At first I thought it was food poisoning, but now I'm kind of thinking that it was a stomach bug, because since then my husband's been sick and my mother-in-law's been sick. But luckily so far my son hasn't got it yet. So I was at Human from Friday evening, right as we sat down to cross stitch. Literally, I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to stitch. I'm going to go to bed. I'm sick. To about 10 o'clock the next morning, I was not human. And then on that Saturday, we got up and we did some craft shops. And one of the other girls and I decided that we were going to finally dive into linen. So that, you know, those of you that have tried to kind of help me, encourage me to do linen, I finally got into my linen. And we got to stitch Saturday night, and then we stitched some Sunday morning before checkout, and then we came home, I came home, but like I said, just not a lot of progress on my stitching this month, just a lot of crazy setbacks. But I will say that I absolutely love stitching on linen. Those of you that have encouraged me to do it. I can definitely see myself stitching on linen more often, maybe even more than the Ada, however you pronounce it. It's just a little more expensive though. But I'll just go ahead and show it to you. This is what it's gonna be. It's gonna be the stocking by Bent Creek. It's for my son. And I actually already have 2 more of these patterns picked out for my husband and I. One of them's on the back, and then there's another one that's not on here that I got in my stash somewhere later. But it's by Bent Creek, and it's stitched on 18 count linen over 2, so it's like stitching on 9 count. So we did choose a very, very, very large. Actually, we didn't choose it. That's what it calls for. But you know, we decided since it was large, it'd be a little easier to stitch for the first time. But there's my progress, and that's pretty good for me considering that I've only been stitching on this since Saturday. I'm not a very fast stitcher. I watch TV and things like that when I stitch, and so I don't get a lot of fast project or progress done. But because I do stitch for enjoyment, not to just punch things out as fast as I can. But I'm really, really enjoying this linen. I love the coverage. It's actually 4 pieces of it's 4 over 2. But I like the way the stitches just kind of pop on linen. I don't know, they just kind of stand out where they don't so much on the Ada. But I found a site online. I haven't ordered from them yet, so I'm not going to give any references until I order from them. I don't want to tell any sites, and you guys go and they be a scam artist. But I found a site that's got some hand-dyed threads and some hand-dyed fabric that I'm really excited to try. They've got linen, and they even do Ada. So once I find out more about the site, I'll let you guys know. And then I've got, of course, my Starry Night. I got a little bit more progress coming up on there. Somehow, I don't know how I managed to do this, but I kind of came down and came up and around instead of, going across. I try not to go by the blocks. I did, again, try the parking method. Did not like it. I like to, start one color and then carry it out throughout the section, to try to prevent from getting those little pulled blocks that some people complain about seeing when they stitch. They say there's a way that you can go and stitch behind your work and it will pull it even, but I don't know how to do all that stuff. So I try to kind of carry or do cross country, I think as some people call it. I mentioned that I watch TV and stuff while I stitch. When my sister's here, she's here most of the nights that my husband works. That way my son and I aren't by ourselves. I feel completely safe here by myself. I just like the company. I don't know if you talk to a 2-year-old all day, or an almost 2-year-old all day, it's kind of nice, to talk to an adult. So, we'll sit and we'll watch, right now our current show is Grey's Anatomy on Netflix. We don't have cable, which is how we decided to drop our cable TV here, because we were watching more on Netflix. So we were watching Grey's Anatomy, and then, my husband and I watched 24. A show that my husband and I just started 24, and my sister and I just started Grey's Anatomy, so don't give me any spoilers if you watch the show. I'm addicted to both. But I also, when it's just me, I'll listen to audiobooks. I don't know why I'm getting on this tangent, but I am. I currently am listening to the 5th book in the Mortal Instrument series. I always want to say Immortal Instrument series. The first book is actually about to put out a movie called City of Ashes, I believe is the first book. But it's about demon hunters and vampires and that kind of thing. It's a supernatural, young adult supernatural book. And I'm pretty eclectic in my book taste, but I went through my library. They do a, I can't think of the, not Open Office. Why is Open Office popping up in my head? I cannot think of the name. Overdrive Media, where you can check out the books, the audiobooks, and then in 2 weeks it takes them back and you can renew it, and it's really neat. A really nice program because you don't have to worry about late fees. I'm horrible with late fees. So, like I said, when I stitch to enjoy myself, and that's why I don't always get the fastest progress. I don't just sit and stitch. The Woodland Sampler. This month was rough. It had nothing at all to do. Let me stress that before I say any complaints with the design at all. It was completely all me. Completely all stitcher error. This month has been rough for me. I don't know why. I think part of it is because I know this is strictly for me. Starry Night is for my house, but it's kind of my husband, like I liked it, but my husband's kind of encouraged me along the whole way. So when I stitch it, I'm kind of stitching it for him because he's already got the place picked out where we're going to hang it and that kind of thing. And he's always, I want to see how far you've gotten. This Woodland Sampler was totally for me. When I picked it out for me. And I like stitching for other people more. Back to kind of the verse that I've been doing for my coworker. Once I've restarted it, it's been hard for me to pick it back up, and part of it I think is because I know that she knows what it is. There's not the surprise in it anymore. But this one has been, you know, solely for me, so it's kind of taken a back seat, and sometimes I feel like it's getting in the way of my other stitching because I only have like 5 projects going. But I've made so many mistakes this month. Ridiculous. First of all, I'll let you see it and then I'll kind of show the mistakes that I made. This box is supposed to be only one stitch is supposed to separate. I don't know if you can tell the box, what the box is, and there's actually 2 between that one. I apparently deleted a row and that made everything have to kind of scrunch in some because I did not realize it until I had already stitched that whole fox, and he's about 200 stitches, and like I said, I don't like, you know, wasting time on myself, so I was about to unpick it and restitch it. And then one of the dandelions kind of got offline. Oops, sorry, that's not showing that at all. Wow. I completely enjoyed stitching the dandelions. I love that the way they add to the pattern. I did add some sparkle there, or some blending filament there. Again, it is not the design or the chart or anything. It was completely my ear. I don't want anybody to shy away from the sampler because of me saying that this month was rough. It has nothing to do with them. It was all me. But August is going to be, of course, in this longer box here. It's a little skunk. As you can see, I've already got to fix the box here because it's offline. My dad's Masonic emblem, I think it's called the square and compass. I've got to figure out what I did wrong on it. I don't know what was up with me this month. I had so many mistakes stitching. It's a very simple, just like not even, it's supposed to look like a swirl, but of course it's 2D, so it's not a full swirl. It's kind of like just curves, and it's simple. It's counting to 3. There's 3 horizontal and then 3 diagonal on either side. It goes down to 3 horizontal, 3, you know, 3 up, 3 down, or 3 across, 3 down, 3 across, 3 up, 3, you know, simple. And somehow I've got all the way around my first loop. I was all excited because I got one color done, and it's meeting like this. It's 1 stitch off, and I don't know if I dropped a stitch here, added a stitch here. I've looked and I don't know where I've messed up, and I was so frustrated. I think I'm gonna name this video "Frustrated" with it, that I just put it to the side. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm wanting to get it done by December. My dad's birthday's in December, and I want to get that. I really want that to be for his for his birthday present. I would like to kind of got another gift planned for his Christmas. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while. My mom passed away many years ago, and he still has his wedding band, and he also has his grandfather's Masonic ring, but it's broken. It's just cracked right at the bottom, and I'm wanting to get it and have it melted. My mom's wedding band melted into the ring for him for Christmas. Don't know how I'm going to get that from him. Apparently I'm just going to have to let him know that's what we're doing. But I'd like to give this to him from his birthday and then do that for him for Christmas. But, hope he's not watching. But, so I've got a kind of deadline on that. Then I've got I've got a coworker who's having a baby in October who asked me if I was going to stitch her a baby sampler, a birth announcement, and I told her of course I would, and she kind of helped me pick one out for her, and I haven't even started that one, and the baby's due in October. And then I've got to do, you know, that first for my coworker. The anniversary of her daughter's passing is coming up in December as well, and I'd like to have that done by then, and just got a lot of deadlines on my stitching. I've got, you know, the stocking by Christmas. So December is going to be I'm going to hopefully have a lot of things wrapping up by December, which then will just give me more room for stuff to start. So I will be, somebody asked me I think it was Catbird who asked me who my favorite designer was. And I would have to say either Bent Creek or AAN, I'll never say her name right, Alessandra Adelaide Needlework. She does kind of the swirly patterns. Actually, I'm going to start a stitch along on a Facebook group in December of one of her, the Christmas Cardinal Ball, the Cardinal Christmas Ball, one of those. I already have the fabric and the threads picked out. But I absolutely love her designs. I've not stitched her yet, so I don't know how it's going to be stitching, but I think they're so beautiful to look at them, you know, once they're done. But Bent Creek has probably been my second or my other favorite, probably my favorite because I've stitched them. I know I like their patterns. I know how they flow. I love the colors they choose. When I'm in my little needle workshop here in Georgia that's closing, I'll be walking around looking at her models. I'll say, "Ooh, who's that by?" She'll say, "Bent Creek." And then I'll walk to another, "Ooh, who's this by?" She'll be like, "Bent Creek." And oddly enough, I think Bent Creek is even here in a town in Georgia. I think it's actually, the people who make Bent Creek are actually from Georgia. But I really like their things. I like the colors they use. I'm not a big Heaven and Earth Designs fan. I think they're beautiful. I just don't see myself stitching that. When I stitch, I want it to be practical. I want it to be used somewhere. And some of their stuff, I just don't see me hanging in it in my house, or I haven't found anything yet that I think anybody I know would hang in their house. Now, with that said, I'm not against them. If I found something that I loved, I would stitch it from them. I'm not, you know, anti, you know, Heaven and Earth by any means, or Heaven and Earth Designs by any means. It's just not, I haven't found anything that I want to spend that much time to stitch yet. But so those probably are my two favorite artists. That's really everything for now. If you guys have any questions or comments, just let me know. Feel free to leave comments or questions, or send me a message and I'll try to answer them the best I can. Thanks so much for watching.